Hey everybody, Kimmel's Irish Pub, Bitcoin Heist. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? If you're into the whole Bitcoin craze and cryptocurrency, which I am a little bit. I've invested. This, I had no idea. I had it on my Netflix watch list forever, and I'm running out of stuff to watch. So I was like, alright, let's bring this in. Let's start watching it, you know? And then I started to look it up to do some research, tell you who the actors are, that stuff that I like to do. IMDb, you know, gives it a 5.8. Well, Rotten Tomatoes, the critics haven't seen it. The audience gave it a 20%. Here's the kicker. It's a Vietnamese movie. Not a movie about Vietnam, although it takes place in Vietnam. It's a Vietnamese movie. So all of the actors are Vietnamese, and it's set in a futuristic world of Vietnam. So I think they said 2020 or something like that. But so that's kind of interesting, although I'm going to have to read the movie. Not too excited about that because I hate it, not so much the reading part, but the missing of, while I'm slowly reading all the stuff that they're saying, I'm missing what's going on the screen. That's what bothers me. But to catch the world's most wanted thief, an Interpol agent assembles a team of elite hackers to plan the ultimate cryptocurrency heist. So I don't know. Going deep here. Maybe this is something that might interest you, Vietnamese movies. I've never seen one before, so I'm going to get into it. Alright? So it was like, sorry, I don't know any of the actors. You could look it up. I have the link in IMDb down in the explanation below. But that's it. I'll get into it a little bit, and hopefully I'll be able to explain a little bit to you on what it's really about and if it's any good. Alright, stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. We're at the 50-minute, 21-second mark of Bitcoin Heist. There's still an hour and 5 minutes left, but I wanted to jump in real quick and talk a little bit about it because there's a lot going on, and I might, you know, I don't want to forget anything. As I mentioned, it's a Vietnamese movie, so it's all subtitles. That's my only, right now, negative of the movie, because it's hard to catch the action while you're reading. And they go pretty fast. I mean, they're talking in normal dialogue here, so when they have exchanges, you really got to keep up with it. I find myself sometimes rewinding a little bit. So that's my only negative comment about it. So it starts off, and again, it's all about the Bitcoin stuff, and it starts off, they're laundering money, you know, illegally. Obviously, laundering money is illegally, but they're using Bitcoin to do it. So there's this ghost person who basically exchanges Bitcoin for actual dollars so that they can launder their money somehow, some way. That, you know, you can kind of get the gist, but it starts off in a hotel room where an accountant and basically a bodyguard are going in to do the exchange for the ghost with mobs. I think that's their, you know, that's who they're in bed with, and this is a mob type gang. And anyway, so the whole beginning is very action intense. So these two people go in, but it's a sting operation. The authorities are there. They're watching everything, and they try and take them down. And it was a little bit, I mean, it was neat. I really loved the way they have different ways of doing camera angles and like sliding it in as the action's going on. It's hard to explain, but it was really cool. It, like almost a swipe noise as it moves, as you know, and gives you these different looks at how the thing's going on. So I really enjoyed that in the beginning, and that. So I hope there's more of that to come. So far there hasn't been. The one thing that was, you know, I get it, the whole movie's unrealistic, but the SWAT teams, not one, but two SWAT teams, you know, converge on this hotel room on probably the 40th floor. And, you know, I get it, they can shoot their way out of these two SWAT teams coming in. Not that, you know what I mean, I've seen that happen in other movies, and it's just, it's really her, because the accountant just hides in the closet. But they get out, and they get into the elevator. So you gotta be thinking now, if you have two SWAT teams there, there's gotta be people all over the place, like probably on the ground floor, just waiting and watching the elevator. But no, these two people get away and get out. You know, there's some collateral damage after that as they run away. So that's what happens. And then the cop who's running this whole sting operations, she seems to be like the daughter of the chief of police, but her father is not very happy. He suspends her because of how poorly she did. I think he suspends her, maybe he fires her, I don't know, I think she's suspended. But then, and they catch the accountant for money laundering. And so she decides to try and put a team together on her own, because she's no longer a part of the force there, and wants to capture the ghost, or arrest the ghost on her own. So she recruits a hacker, a magician, a jewel maker, and the accountant is involved as well. And a cat burglar as well. Sorry. So she's going out and she's trying to get these people to help, because it's kind of like Ocean's 11 sense. So this guy has a ring on his finger that has, I want to say, the QR code to get him into the mainframe where the bitcoins are being held. And it's pretty intense on how they do this. So she needs a jeweler to help with making a fake ring. She needs a magician, to help with some sleight of hand type stuff. She needs the cat burglar to climb in odd different areas. Then, she needs the hacker to help hack into the mainframe. Those kinds of things. You get the gist of it. So it's kind of like a Vietnamese Ocean's 11. But it is entertaining. I like it. Like I said, it's hard to read it all. But it's action-packed. It's interesting. I'm following it. And I think the acting's pretty good from what I can see. So far so good, but I wanted to catch up real quick on it before I got too involved, and I forgot to explain all this to you. So I'll get back into it a little bit. If something interesting happens, I'll check back in. But so far, I think the first 15 minutes of it, I would recommend watching it. Alright, so I'll be back. See ya. Hey everybody, no additional check-ins. We're at the credits here. Bitcoin Heist. I really enjoyed it. The only thing, not the only thing, one of the things I'm disappointed in, as I mentioned in the beginning of the film, there was this great action scene where the bodyguard and the accountant were fighting against the two different SWAT teams that broke in, and the angles and I thought that was really neat. I wish there was more of that. There isn't, not to do a spoiler alert, but there's no real scenes like that again that I think that really got me excited for the rest of the movie. Now the rest of the movie continues to play out, as I had said, where this suspended cop or whatever recruits these people with different skills to help track down the ghost, and hopefully stop him from doing things. For me, and I don't know if it was because I had to read the whole thing, it got a little convoluted at the end. They even, so it goes on, they find out who the ghost is, and then it even, there's a twist. There's a nice twist in it, which I thought was good. Didn't necessarily see coming. One thing real quick, the one guy's name, now these are Vietnamese, characters, and his name is P-H-U-C. So every time they're talking, it's kind of funny when you read it, or even you hear it, because there's sometimes they do speak a little English, and you get a kick out of it when they pronounce his name. I did. But anyway, just because of the sentence structure, it kind of sometimes sounded funny. But so this plays out, and they have a nice little twist in it, and I enjoyed it. I was like I said, I didn't necessarily see that coming. But then they try and double twist you at the end, and not to. I hate to give a spoiler alert, and maybe I'll do an open discussion at the end. I think I will. But they do, they double twist you at the end, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me. It seemed too obvious for what they were doing, and I can't explain it any further than that. But again, it was good. A little convoluted at the end, and then they explain it. Right at the end, they explain everything that has happened. Kind of like they do, I swear it's like Ocean's 11. How Ocean's 11 goes back and says, this is how everything took place. They do the same thing here for you. But you got to pay attention, because you have to read it and watch it and do it at the same time, and it helps. I actually had to rewind a couple times to make sure I caught everything. But in the end, being my first Vietnamese film, definitely a 7. Not quite an 8. And, without spoiling it for you, I can't tell you, but I would encourage you to definitely watch this. I'll be interested in seeing more films like this, checking out maybe the director or even a cinematographer. I don't know, again, those action scenes were really good. And I like what they did here. I thought it was really good acting, as far as I could tell, and a decent plot. I think it was Ocean's 11, but it was a Bitcoin Ocean's 11 with Vietnamese actors. But still kept me entertained the entire time. And I would recommend people check it out. I think this might be an up-and-coming, genre, if that's what it is. I'd definitely be interested in checking out more films coming at least from this director, or at least Vietnamese films. I enjoyed it that much. So that's it. It was a surprise. Running out of films, thought I'd throw this on. It was worth it. So hopefully this helped you out. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Drop me some comments. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub. Hey everybody, I'm back. Yes, it's time for a little open discussion. So, as the warning said, if you don't want to see any spoilers or anything like that, or hear any spoilers, please stop now. Don't move on. If you haven't watched the film, probably don't want to do this. If you're planning on watching it, I don't want to spoil it for you. So anyway, here's the biggest thing for me. So they had this elaborate scheme, the Ocean's 11 scheme, on how to do everything, and we all know, if you watch it, it comes at the end. The accountant, P-H-U-C, I'm not going to say it, ultimately is the ghost. Okay, great. And he, devises all this and has this great ideas on how to make this all happen and how he can make himself come out on top, even faking his death. But they catch up with him, so they figure out it was him. Understandable. That's great. The fact that I don't like is how he fell for their trick. Like, he had to know he was deceiving all these people this whole time, and everything that they did in order to get into, to get to the ghost, who he was the ghost. And then they come back after him in Taipei, I believe that's where it was, and he falls for it. Like, that's a little ridiculous. That's the one thing I didn't like about this film. I mean, it was so blatantly obvious that that's what V was doing. She was working with them. I mean, all of them were working together. They didn't come out and say that, but that's what's going on right now. They're all working together to get him. And he falls for it. Hook, line, and sinker. It's like, come on. He's obviously very intelligent, very brilliant, and he can hack, and he can manipulate people, and that's what he did the whole first part of the movie. Now you're going to turn around and you're going to flip it on him, and he's going to fall for it, and so that's my thing. That was the reason it fell for me on the end. I think they could have, either, I don't know, they could have done it a million different ways, but I think it was silly for them. I mean, I like the idea that they put him in a shipping container. Great. But the fact that he fell for V, you know what I mean, got on the boat, all that stuff, malarkey. So, that was the open discussion. Let me know what you think. Did that really, they had a great thing going there. Again, a little convoluted, but they messed that up. There's no way he's falling for that. You gotta make it a little bit more believable if he was. They had to do it a different way. That was just, too transparent for me. Okay, that's it. Thank you for coming back, listening to the open discussion, and thanks for tuning in. KimmelsIrishPub.com.